Welcome back to the Sound of Music tour offered by Trafalgar, a guided holiday across German Bavaria and the Alpine region of Austria, a predominantly Catholic, German-speaking part of Europe with an infectious passion for music, art, and life in general. And that one other unique quality, fantasy, which we're about to discover in the remote part of the Schwangau Valley. Neuschwanstein, it's as hard to pronounce and spell as it is hard to reach. Indeed, only someone mad enough would build a castle this far away from civilization. And that's exactly what he was called, the Mad King Ludwig. Ludwig II was one of the last Bavarian kings and perhaps the most eccentric Wittelsbach ruler. His obsession with Germanic myth and the music of Wagner in part drove him to construct extravagant palaces and castles across Bavaria. A whimsical building spree that culminated in his Schloss Neuschwanstein. Ludwig's creation inspired Sleeping Beauty's castle in Disneyland, but unlike Walt Disney, King Ludwig kept his fairy tale world to himself. What a sight, right? This is where they get off the horse carriage, and from this point it's another 10 minutes up this slope. Now, just imagine this. When this castle was first built, there was no road here, so this was pretty much inaccessible. But that was the whole point of King Ludwig II. He wanted to be alone with his fantasies. The construction was so ambitious, it bankrupted the royal treasury, which led to the overthrow of Ludwig. Today, however, the castle brings in millions from tourists. With over 6,000 visitors per day, you could spend hours just queuing for a ticket. Though joining the Trafalgar tour helps you avoid the lines and gets you in the castle in minutes. Sadly, Ludwig never lived to see his castle completed and go on to become one of Europe's most beloved. What an experience! Too bad you can't take any photos or videos of what's inside this castle. So let me just describe it to you. Well, actually, it's indescribable, it's insane, it's mad, it's even crazy, sometimes even creepy. Here is a king who wanted to live as if he were inside a Wagnerian opera. No wonder they called him the Mad King of Bavaria. Or maybe he was just ahead of his time, a modern Renaissance man. Castles like Neuschwanstein and the Schloss Hohenschwangau nearby make the drive along the Alpine road of Bavaria so exhilarating. The route is called the Romantic Road for a reason. It takes you through lovely Alpine scenery and heart-stopping roadside attractions. Located on a farm, the 18th century pilgrimage church of Wies may seem simple outside. Once you're inside, you quickly realize why the Wieskirche is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Wow, this church may be in the middle of nowhere, but it's considered to be one of the finest, if not the finest example of Rococo. If you recall from art history, Baroque and Rococo were the response of the Catholics to the austere aesthetic of the Protestants. In more ways than one, Catholicism is still what defines the Bavarian spirit. While the rest of Germany was turning to the teachings of Luther, most Bavarians remained loyal to the Catholic Pope in Rome and the belief in miracles. One such miracle is said to have occurred here, tears seen flowing from the figure of Christ. But it's the ornate frescoes and decorative stucco work that are the true miracles for me, using Rococo style that combines sculpture and murals to unleash the divine. The deeper you drive into Catholic Bavaria, the more passionate the local faith is displayed. In Bavaria, it doesn't get more Catholic than the town of Oberammergau. In this town, they celebrate the most spectacular passion play in the entire country. Apart from that, as you'll notice walking down the streets, They wear their faith on their sleeves and on the facades of their homes. Luftmalerei, a technique of painting the facades of homes, is common in Bavaria, and Oberammergau has some wonderful examples, like these fairy tale scenes found on the town school buildings. But in deeply religious Oberammergau, the themes are overwhelmingly religious, mostly scenes of Christ's Passion.
So, nehmt ihn hin und kreuzigt ihn.
Scenes which are played out on stage by residents every 10 years, with hardly a pause since the 17th century. The Passion Play is perhaps the only reason anyone outside Bavaria might know of Oberammergau, a remote town in the Alpine foothills. Well, that, and perhaps their famous wood carvings. Hoping to ward off the outbreak of plague in 1633, the folk of Oberammergau made a vow, promising to stage Christ's passion, death, and resurrection every 10 years for eternity. The plague disappeared miraculously, and so to honor their promise, the Passion Play was staged for the first time in a parish church the following year. It's been staged every decade since, over many months throughout the year. Next one runs in 2020. The once tiny and amateur Come over here. We're at the costume department of the auditorium, and as you can see, this isn't some amateurish village production. This is almost professional, sometimes even better than professional. And that's why the Passion Play is so popular. Come closer, I want to show you how they crucify Jesus on the cross here in their Passion Play. It's not the real thing like we do in the Philippines. They do a bit of special effects. Like this little pedestal over here, it's inserted, and the Jesus lays his foot over here. And take a look at these nails. Cleverly designed to disguise this little hook over here, which wraps around the hand. Simple but effective.
In later times, a lot of these stations were changed to post stations. And
there are a lot of people I don't see 10 years in between, and suddenly when the Passion Play starts, he's still living here in town. I have not seen him, but I think you are infected by the Passion Play when you're a child. My children were in the last Passion Play. My older son was 12 years, and my younger son was 8 years, and they were so much influenced by the Passion Play. They always said, we want to be a part in the Passion Play next time in 2020.
Many people ask, is there anything else to do in Oberammergau apart from watching the Passion Play, which only happens every 10 years? Well, for me, the answer is yes. And what I really enjoy about this small town is getting a sense, a feel of traditional Bavaria. So let's go in.
Versions of that. No, that's really. Your famous
I must say, this is one of the most beautiful parts of Europe. And it's even more beautiful because so few people know about this place. So serene, so peaceful. But don't be fooled by the scenery. This place in the Bavarian Alps actually holds a very notorious spot in German history. You see, Adolf Hitler, he had a rest house here. And also very close to where we are was a so-called eagle's nest. Apple strudel. This is something you'll find all over southern Germany, especially here in the border between Austria and Bavaria. The Prince Regentort. And that's all for this episode of Executive Class. Join us again next time as our journey continues. Till then, I'm David Celdran. Thanks for watching.